Hello again, YouTube. So it's 3:14 p.m., April 1st, 2022, and I don't know if y'all can see that. That's the line. That's the line inside PLS. I should know better than to ever come to any PLS in the afternoon on the first of the month, because that's insane. I waited for a while. By the time I get through that line and then try to make it to U-Store, it'd be too damn late. So I just came out. Now the reason I came to this bus stop, to this corner for PLS, usually this one has a little shorter line than the one at 42nd Street. Obviously today doesn't matter, or maybe it's even worse there for all I know. But the other thing is that trying to get from that PLS to Pack and Store is very difficult, because Pack and Store is past 32nd Street on Route 3. So if I go over to 44th Street to go south, I'm in that part of the Route 3 that only has half service, and the 44 doesn't run very frequently either. I mean, obviously it's no problem getting back, to 44th Street by the Thomas bus. Whereas this one here, at this corner, you got full frequency on the Thomas bus. You got full frequency over to 32nd Street on the Route 3. And I don't have a problem walking from 32nd Street over to Pack and Store if I get a bus that only goes to 32nd Street on the Route 3. And then southbound, you've got Route 16, which runs every half hour. And then you have also the Route 12, which runs every half hour. So you put the two routes together, and there's a bus going southbound to Van Buren every 15 minutes, more or less. But check this out. So I just opened the app, and I wasn't even going to make another video right here, but I got to get this on video, and I went far enough to enable my hotspot so that the Samsung would have service so I could show you all this. But here is what's up with the Route 16 southbound. Oh, I can't seem to get it to focus here. Focus. Whoa! And that's how screens get broken. Damn it. Oh, and of course it lost my spot. It doesn't look like it. It just looked like I just scratched a corner that time. All right, that's a little more legible. I don't know if y'all can see this. It doesn't look like it's really going to focus on it. But anyway, Route 16 southbound. The next one is supposed to show up at 2:36. It's 2:17. And it is listed as delayed and not going to show up until 3:25 p.m. So I don't know if y'all can see that. Delayed 3:25 p.m. So that bus is running 50 minutes late. Damn near an hour. So there's not gonna, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I just realized it's 3:18. Oh, but you know what? Hang on. So 3:25, so that bus should have shown up like 45 minutes ago, and it's going to show up in less than 10 minutes. Okay, but check this, and this is what happened when I clicked, I wish this was more visible. When I clicked this to see where the bus is, it's given that error. It's saying live vehicle data is currently not available. So that pretty much tells me that bus ain't coming. Yeah, so as you can see, the Route 16 is just pretty much you are blocking a sidewalk, dude. The Route 16, I don't know what's going on. I don't think that bus is gonna, it says it's 50 minutes late. I don't think it's gonna show up at all. It did show the Route 12 was gonna be coming in about less than 10 minutes when I started this video, so I just need to get my ass across the street and catch the Route 12. The Route 12 southbound picks up right there in front of the Arco. For the most part, the Route 12 is the 12th Street bus, but 12th Street doesn't cut across the Phoenix Country Club, so there is no 12th Street between Thomas and between Thomas and Osborne. So during this one part of town here, it takes Osborne to 16th Street, goes down 16th Street here to Thomas, and it turns right, takes Thomas to 12th Street, and then continues its journey down 12th Street. It's one of the few buses that does more than just go straight down a single street. Now, I did find it kind of challenging. Oh, look, there goes a Waymo self-driving car. Good stuff. God, I wish the Waymo self-driving cars provided passenger service here in Central Phoenix. Right now, they only operate in West Chandler, a chunk of West Gilbert, and a chunk of South Tempe. They only go a half mile north of Baseline, so it's not the part of Tempe I would actually ever be in. So, but yeah, they are offering service. They keep saying they're going to expand, so I see the vehicles roaming around here. So hopefully they get here soon. Speaking of which, one of the local YouTube channels that I follow that kind of specializes in public transit related stuff here in Phoenix, as well as elevators, interestingly enough, did a video where he took a ride in one of the self-driving, and it was completely driverless. Like, it didn't even have a driver in the driver's seat monitoring the self-driving, which is kind of how a lot of them run. It was 100% driverless, and really neat video. I'll try to remember to link it in this video, but yeah, it's always exciting to see those. I really do. I know a lot of people have some anxiety about self-driving cars, and I find it interesting that the channel that actually, YouTube channel that actually did the video about the self-driving cars is one that often specializes in elevators, because and I think that guy should do a video on the subject. He's way more qualified than I am. But there's an interesting parallel between elevators and cars, in that about 100 years ago, more or less, elevators used to have drivers. They were called elevator operators. When you got in an elevator, and granted, only really big cities like New York City really had elevators in any large quantity. But when you got in a building with an elevator, and only really tall buildings had elevators. 2 and 3 story buildings didn't have elevators. 2 and 3 story buildings, you walked up the damn stairs. Anyway, when you got in a building with an elevator, you told the elevator operator, who was the driver of the elevator, where you needed to go, what floor. And he drove the elevator there. When automatic elevators, or shall we call them self-driving elevators, first happened, roughly 100 years ago. I'm ballparking. Google, fact check this later. It may be more than 100 years. Maybe it's probably less than 100 years, but more or less 100 years ago. When elevators started to run themselves, you had the elevator operator unions that were very, very against that, because of course that was going to put elevator operators out of jobs. I don't think there are any elevator operators anymore. I do believe that that's a union job that no longer exists. Anyway, sorry, I was checking to see when the Route 12 was going to show up. It shows it's on time. It's going to be at 3:34, and it's 3:23 now. So coming soon-ish. It's just south of Camelback on 12th Street. I'm standing here just to see if there is a Route 16 headed southbound. If there is, I'm gonna sprint across the street and catch it. Usually it's a lot easier to get from this corner down to Van Buren between the 12 and the 16. Anyway, as I was saying, so the elevator operators had a real issue, because it was the self-driving elevators were going to eliminate their job. But then the other big thing was that people were nervous. People really nervous about getting on an elevator and question the safety of getting on an elevator and pushing a button, and that elevator taking them to their floor without a driver, without an elevator operator. And I think there's a really good parallel between that, and of course, time has shown nobody even thinks about elevator operators anymore. In fact, I think the average person doesn't even know that elevator operators were ever a thing. Most everybody just kind of takes for granted that elevators drive themselves, that you get in an elevator and you push the button and it takes you all via automation to your floor safely. Nobody questions that. And I feel there's a really good parallel between that and self-driving cars. I mean, yeah, there have been a couple incidents with self-driving cars. And there was a woman maybe about 2 years ago that was killed, maybe about 3 years ago now, that was killed by a self-driving Uber while jaywalking on meth in Tempe. If that woman had been hit by just a regular car, it wouldn't have even been newsworthy. So that's one pedestrian hit and killed by a self-driving car in Phoenix. In 4 years. 3 years, 4 years. Wow, that guy's front end is fucked. Oh, you guy's driving with a flat tire. He was just in an accident. That guy was just in an accident. His bumper was all messed up and he got a flat tire and he's still driving like that. I get the feeling that dude was just in a hit and run accident. Wow. Case in point, human drivers are dangerous. So yeah, in the last 4 years, there has been one car pedestrian accident involving a self-driving car, but there has been thousands of car pedestrian accidents involving human drivers. Listen to the traffic reports in Phoenix on any radio station during rush hour, and there are accidents nonstop all the time with human drivers. That incident that happened with the self-driving car in Tempe, that's the only one I have ever heard of with a self-driving car. The statistics are pretty clear. Computers drive cars safer than humans do. Automation drives has proven to be safe in elevators, and people that are afraid of it in cars, I think, are thinking with they're thinking illogically. They're not really looking at the reality. So I embrace self-driving cars. Don't get me wrong, I love driving, and I'm looking forward to someday soon having a car, one of my damn cars fixed so I can drive again. But I do embrace self-driving cars. Not eager to buy one, but I certainly like the idea of using ride service provided by self-driving cars. And hopefully that will be, it's already a reality in some parts of the Phoenix area. Hopefully it'll be a reality here in Central Phoenix and between, Arcadia and up to Alhambra in the area where I regularly travel, so I can make use of it. Anyway, that was not what I was going to talk about, but seeing that Waymo just kind of got me thinking about it, and then thinking about the fact that the guy that did a video showing an actual ride in a pilot and a driverless, self-driving car, actually specializes in elevators, and I find the parallel between self-driving elevators and self-driving cars to be a really interesting one, and one that should be obvious, but it just doesn't get much mention. Anyway, wow, so much traffic here. This is one of the many reasons cars are evil. So 328. I didn't think I would be waiting this long. Usually between the 16 and the 12, there is a bus along pretty quickly to get me down to Van Buren. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet. Now I'm almost, part of me is wishing that I had waited in that line, but yeah, that line was ridiculous and it hadn't moved far the time I was inside BLS. Just hit my online banking and it's verified I got enough money on my Wells Fargo credit card to cover that. And I think today is the day to go down to Pack and Store. This was not on my agenda at all today. I was just wanting to go over to Bullock's and work on music, but I think today is the perfect day to head over to U-Store and get my storage back on an auto pay on that card, especially since I have ready access to that account through my Wells Fargo app. So it's never really an issue if there's not enough cash, not enough balance available on that card to get enough balance available on that card. So, hey, look, there's another self-driving Waymo. Now it does have I can see a hand, so there's definitely a person behind the wheel, but and he does have his hands on the wheel. So I wonder how much is just him being ready to grab the wheel should the radar and the LiDAR and the cameras not do their thing. And I'm at 15 minutes of video and still no southbound bus between two routes. They run every 30 minutes. I'm really missing that about Portland. You know, in Portland, even though I didn't know where a lot of the buses were going to go, the light rail was pretty simple to figure out, and the streetcar was pretty simple to figure out. The bus routes, I was still pretty confused on it, but I never had to wait long for a bus on anything other than other than in Beaverton along 100 and whatever the hell the avenue was. I want to say 158, where my daughter lives there. But every other area I went, the bus usually showed up pretty darn quick. So wait, it did kind of look like the guy was driving that car, that Waymo car. All right, I see a bus coming here southbound. I'm gonna check my transit app to see if that's a 16 or it's a 16 or a 12. It's kind of unnerving. It's not showing up. It's not showing up on the app. I can see the bus though. It's possible it's that 16 that's running. Oh, there it is. It is a 16. 12 is right behind it. Oh, and the 12 looks like it just skated a half mile. It looks like it just skated on Osborne Road. I don't know if y'all can see this. It looks like it just skated on Osborne Road underneath the 51. So I've noticed in the last month, maybe month and a half, Valley Metro has done an update to the app. Now, how it used to work is there's always a little bit of a lag on the tracking between when the GPS tracks where the bus is and then relays that information to the server, and then the server relays it to the app. And what they've done, I guess, to try to correct that, to make it more realistically where the bus physically is versus the lag point, is, and I hope y'all can see this, but you probably can, is to routinely push the little dot that represents what the bus is ahead of where it physically is. And with buses that don't just simply go straight, it makes it look like the bus has gone in a place where it's not supposed to go. Like right now, the bus has definitely gone around the corner, the Route 12, and it shows it going southbound on 16th Street, just south of Osborne. But just a little bit ago, it showed that it had continued on Osborne instead of turning right like it was supposed to, and it showed it underneath the 51 freeway. So that is definitely the 16, and you can see the 12. I can see the 12 like right behind it. The 12 is on time. The 16 is like 50 plus minutes late. As you can see, there's quite a few people waiting for the 16. I don't know how long they all been waiting, but somebody calling me named Bianca Cervantes, number verified. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm not answering it. Anyway, yeah, here you see the buses just stuck. It looks like I get 3 buses there stuck in traffic, not able to move because of the traffic. That's another thing I definitely noticed that Portland has a lot of is bus lanes. The Portland buses don't seem to get stuck in traffic. They've got when there's heavy traffic that it has its own lane. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see this, but right now there's a 16 followed by another 16 followed by a 12. 3 buses back to back, stuck in traffic, not making shit for progress. A 16, a 16, a 16, and a 12. And one of those 16s nearly an hour behind. Oh, that guy just turned in front of that other guy. There's some shit drivers here. We got another guy blocking traffic because he can't seem to get his big truck around the corner into the parking lot.